Thanks for joining us on the Midday News. I'm Nifemi Ogunsoye. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared that card readers will be used for the April 11th gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections. And I stated this in a statement on Monday by Secretary to the Commission, Augusta Ogaku. It explained that the relaxation of the strict use of card reader was only limited to the March 28 election due to the circumstances regarding the card reader use that day, saying the Commission had taken steps now to address the identified lapses for future elections. The All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has expressed surprise that the committee set up by the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission Atahiru Jaga to investigate the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections in the state failed to meet with the APC. The APC had complained to INEC over the alleged disenfranchisement of its supporters and manipulation of results for the 28th of March elections in the state. The state chairman of the APC, Davies Ekaya, refused that the committee set up by Jaga only met with INEC and the PDP in the state, who were supposed to be the offenders in the matter. Ekaya queried the rationale behind Jaga's claim that a committee was set up to investigate complaints over the non-conduct of elections in the state when the said committee had not been able to meet with the party that laid the complaint. Former head of state Yakubu Gowon said the peaceful conduct of the March 28 presidential poll won by Muhammadu Buhari of the APC has shamed doomsayers' perception that Nigeria will break up in 2015. While recalling the prediction that the country would disintegrate this year, Gowon declared that those that made the prediction did not reckon with Nigeria's ability to solve its problems. The former head of state expresses happiness that the polls were judged free and fair by both local and international observers and commended the patience and resilience of the voters who defied rain and the scorching sun to cast their votes. The All Progressives Congress has accused the People's Democratic Party of launching a series of attacks on its supporters in the run-up to the April 11 governorship and House of Assembly elections in Rivers State. It also claims that security agencies have been colluding with PDP in the state to intimidate its members. APC spokesman Lai Mohammed said this at a news conference in Abuja that at least one of its members was shot dead at the weekend. He consequently wants local and international observers monitoring the forthcoming election to pay close attention to security agencies and INEC officials in Rivers State.
The violence targeted at APC members in Rivers, especially during the last elections, was carried out in full glare and in most cases with the connivance of INEC officials in the state. Of course, it is needless to say that the collusion of INEC with the PDP and the police to pave the way for unbridled violence against APC members and supporters and the subsequent rigging of the elections was spearheaded by the resident electoral commissioner for the Rivers, Ms. Jessila Khan. This issue is already the subject of a very strong petition which our party has written to the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission in Abuja.
The All Progressives Congress in Oyo State has warned former state governor Rashid Lajida to desist from his alleged sponsorship of falsehood against the incumbent governor Abiola Ajimobi. The party claimed that Lajida, the state Accord Party governorship candidate in the April 11 poll, was allegedly doing so in a bid to mislead the electorate and get their sympathy votes on Saturday. It fingered Lajida in the spread of various rumors making the rounds of the state, which were apparently designed to set the residents of the state against Ajimobi, who is seeking a second term. As Nigeria looks forward to another round of election this weekend, politicians are also looking around for votes here and there. Politicians across party divides are leaving no stone unturned in their quest for victory. The APC, however, insists the governorship and House of Assembly elections is of top priority to the party, claiming its success at presidential poll can only get absolute meaning if the party records enormous success at the April 11 polls. Rashid speaks with some APC stones across the state and fought in the support.
As Nigerians still celebrate Easter, trust politicians' holiday seems over, if there was any, as they prepare for Saturday's elections, this time putting final touches to their campaigns. For Abdul Fattah Ahmed, Kwara State Governor, he thanked Nigerians for effecting change last Saturday, but also canvassed for votes as he seeks re-election this Saturday.
And for us, it's a very good development for us as a party, and most importantly for us as a country, because it is telling us that we are truly imbibing the global direction for ensuring that good governance starts with a credible electoral process. And this has shown that Nigeria is truly moving towards the direction of improving the system of governance and making the lives of Nigerians better. But most importantly here, it tells us that for the first time, Nigerians can take their destinies in their hands and decide what they want that is good for them.
In Osun State, where there will be no governorship election, the battle may still be as hot up as the last poll. The National Assembly members in Osun State who won seats at last Saturday's poll expressed optimism, saying lawmaking will no longer be business as usual in the coming administration of Muhammadu Buhari.
Now that, our economy is, based on crude oil, maybe we will now sit down and see how to diversify a bit to some other, where we can get more revenue to shore up the whatever we have from the crude oil. But I know it won't be easy, and Nigerian, we will still need to endure with Buhari like 1-2 years before we can start getting things right. One, he may not know the extent of the damage now until when they get to that office. So you may just think maybe the damage is at 50-60% level. On getting there, you now realize that it's at 80-90% level. And for such a person, you need to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize. So it's not an easy task at all.
As Nigerians enter to another election week, political observers note with interest the surprise which may accompany the Saturday's poll. Rashid, CoreTV News.
Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Ahmad Mahmoud, has been expelled from the People's Democratic Party for alleged anti-party activities. This was contained in a statement by the PDP chairman of Galangama Ward in Gumel, Jigawa, Ibrahim Damfita, in Dutse. The chairman said the decision to expel Mahmoud was taken during a stakeholders meeting held in his ward. Reports had earlier indicated that Mahmoud had dumped the PDP for the All Progressives Congress, which won the March 28 election in the state. Kafinta did not say when the stakeholders meeting which ratified the expulsion was held. The ward chairman, however, alleged that the deputy governor sabotaged PDP during the recent National Assembly election. He added that the Gumel local government area headquarters of the party had endorsed the expulsion. The deputy governor is yet to respond to his alleged expulsion from the PDP. We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. You can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, little space, at news. A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State, Chief Ibrahim Babatunde Olorogun Eti, on Monday described the PDP governorship candidate in Lagos State, Jimmy Agbaje, as a charismatic leader with a strong moral belief of how things should be. He also says Jimmy Agbaje is the perfect person for the governorship job and will make the difference in the politics and development of the state. Olorogun Eti, who spoke in Lagos Island, urged the electorate to assess Agbaje based on his antecedents and track record. He warned those working against Agbaje to fall in line, while urging traditional rulers, politicians, women, and youth in the state to support the gubernatorial ambition of the PDP candidate. Israel has expressed a willingness now to assist Nigeria in the fight against corruption, terrorism, and development of the agriculture sector. This was the thrust of the congratulatory letter signed by President Reverend Reuven and delivered to the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari on Monday in Abuja. The Israeli leader noted that the two countries faced similar dangers and challenges in their daily struggle against those who want to terrorize the citizenry. He added that the latest news regarding the Boko Haram ISIS alliance underscores the need for like-minded countries to unite in the fight against radical terrorist organizations. In his response, General Buhari expressed his warm appreciation of the Israeli gesture and pledged to work with all countries on mutual benefits. Above Lagos, Rilwan Akiolu has denied newspaper reports about his alleged threat to Igbos in Lagos to vote for All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Akinwumi Ambode. The Oba, in a statement signed on his behalf by Latifa Joshe, the Okpelu of Lagos, said the meeting he had with Eze Indigbos in the whole of Lagos is just a normal one that is held regularly. He added that he also prayed for the continued peaceful coexistence and prosperity of Lagos. The monarch added that his alleged statement on the issue of people ending up in the lagoon is nothing but a storm in a teacup. He said that the statement is just a proverb on those working against the throne and its interest ending up in the lagoon, as it is the tradition of Lagos. Meanwhile, the Director of Media and Publicity of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, has described as ominous and unacceptable the threat by the Oba of Lagos against the Igbos in Lagos. He says that it is important now that the truth is that they were threatened with ethnic cleansing and religious carnage in the north, and had Buhari not won the presidential election on March 28, and had President Jonathan not quickly concede defeat. Fani-Kayode stated that the threats by the APC and all the attendant rubbish that goes with them must stop, pointing out that no one is intimidated on the side of the PDP, and neither do the party fear for the future because God is in control. Meanwhile, the Lagos State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has demanded the immediate suspension of Rilwan Akiolu as Oba of Lagos until after the elections, following a statement credited to the Oba that Igbos must vote APC governorship candidate Ambode or be drowned in Lagos water. The party has also alerted the security agencies to hold the Oba responsible for any attack on non-indigenous or PDP members in order to guarantee free, fair and credible elections in the state. According to the PDP, the silence of the governor of the state, Fashola, over 48 hours after such inflammatory statement and threat to life suggests that the Oba must have been deployed by the state government to so act. The PDP now says the governor is a conspirator in this threat and must also be held accountable for any violence in the election, which the party attributes to a vindication regarding the desperation of the APC to retain Lagos State at all cost, including plans not to concede the imminent defeat on April 11. The PDP has, however, charged the non-indigenous and her fans not to be intimidated by the Oba's threat, but go out to vote according to their wish. Meanwhile, with the governorship and House of Assembly elections just a few days away, an Igbo group under the auspices of Progressive Igbo People's Forum in Lagos has endorsed the candidature of APC governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode and two House of Assembly aspirants. Patience Ajiboye was there and brought back this report.
The group, which is an amalgamation of Igbo groups in Surulere, Itira Ikate and Mushin, and comprises other subgroups, say they have decided to pitch their tent with the APC and its governorship candidate in Lagos, as well as House of Assembly representatives, from Mushin and Surulere, a decision to join the party at the center following the decision made by the electorate at the presidential polls. One of the coordinators of the group, Ifeanyi Ezeudu, says the Igbos may have erred in the last election, but added that there will not be a repeat of such during the governorship and House of Assembly polls.
We know there is some mistakes sometimes. We have learned our lessons and we have made that correction. That's why the honorable members are here today to address them.
The party's publicity secretary in Lagos, Joe Igbokwe, says the Igbos have realized that power now belongs in the APC-led center and as such will vote for the APC.
Lagos has 20 local governments and 37 LCDAs that are not recognized. That's why this place is like this. When you get money for 20 local governments, they share it among the 57. They can't get enough to do this road. So want the federal government, which we now control, to recognize the 37 and put it in the constitution.
An APC member, Obiageli Onu, says Ambode is the more preferred candidate than PDP's Jimmy Agbaje.
We have checked his opponent, which is Agbaje, and we found out that when you put two of them on the scale, you see that Ambode is the right man. He's the man for the job. And the Igbos is solidly behind him. And we are going to give him our support all the way from all the local governments.
The season for endorsement is still very much around, but just as has been done at the March 28th presidential polls, only the electorate will decide whose endorsement stays valid. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And now to Imo State, where just 2 days to the election, the INEC office in Umbatoli local government area of Imo has been consumed with fire, which according to the police was as a result of negligence. Correspondent Ajibadi Aofeso has more in this report.
The INEC office, situated several miles away from the state capital, according to the police, got burnt as a result of negligence. Gaining access to the burnt building took time and the intervention of the state police headquarters.
Information of the fire inferno, it first came to the police when the security men, the policemen posted at the INEC office at Mbitoli local government area, noticed a heavy smoke, emitting from one of the rooms, one of the offices. And they quickly alerted their divisional police officer, who then, went to the scene immediately and saw flames of light, coming out from the generator room. He quickly called in the fire service, who responded within a short period of time.
Inside the building itself, the generators cited as a major cause of the fire are only recognizable with the carcass left after the fire had completely burnt it. The state police spokesman, Andrew Enwerem, has this to say on what the police have been able to gather from preliminary investigation. Though the fire service and other agencies tried to, but failed to put out the fire, many stakeholders in the electoral process are, however, apprehensive of what may happen in the governorship and House of Assembly elections, due to the local government having the highest number of registered voters in the state.
It's very unfortunate. To be frank, I'm surprised to hear that INEC office at Ruby was gutted by fire. Well, the inquiries we've made shows that it started from the, the generator. Well, in everything, there must be a cause. But whatever it is, luckily, the sensitive materials have not come. So the elections will still hold in Mbite because we win on that day. Whether it is mystery, whether it is natural, all we are saying is it shouldn't deter the electorate to come and vote. They should come and vote for the candidates of their choice.
Imo Police spokesman Andrew Enwerem, however, assures that the police and other agencies are ready to secure the poll.
Level of sensitization we have done, after this presidential and the National Assembly election, it appears to us that there is an atmosphere of peace, and there's no doubt the election will be free, fair, and credible enough, and without any violence.
The police have, however, arrested the security guard who put on the generator and 2 other police personnel who were on duty at the time for proper investigation.
Now to Ekiti State, where some supporters of the People's Democratic Party have been prevented by the police from invading the State House of Assembly complex. The PDP loyalists who claim to be on campaign were led by top government officials, including Deputy Governor Kolapo Lushala and the former Speaker Tunji Odeyemi. Rashid has more in this report.
Another twist to the ongoing political drama in Ekiti State has developed with members of the People's Democratic Party in Ekiti State laying siege to the State House of Assembly complex in a bid to prevent any move that may lead to the alleged moves to impeach the state governor, Ayodele Fayose. The party members who stormed the assembly complex in their numbers set up canopies as shelter. A former acting governor and chieftain of the PDP, Tunji Odeyemi, justified the decision of the party to campaign anywhere they want to.
Connection, there is no connection. Any venue could be chosen. Remember when the wife of Mr. President came around, we identified the governor's office, and that was where we used to welcome the wife of the president. Any venue could be used, any venue at all, as far as the state is within the state for our political activity. Every day is Christmas, every day is business, and as we can see, people gathered here this morning. They are PDP family.
Not buying the campaign excuse, the police led by the State Commissioner Taiwo Akanu arrived at the assembly and dispersed the crowd, while policemen took over the complex with assurance of safety of lives and property.
Well, there's no doubt about it that we have security situation at hand, and you could see that we are on ground. We got the information this morning. Men were deployed here, and so far so good. We have succeeded in pushing them back, and we are in control. So I'll just advise the residents and citizens that there won't be any problem. We are on top of it. It's a political situation really, but we try our best to curtail any unwholesome incident.
Lakanu reaffirmed the command's readiness to ensure peace in the state. The palpable tension in the State House of Assembly has gone up a notch since the re-emergence of the 19 APC lawmakers last week. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Outside Nigeria, Israel has expressed a willingness to assist Nigeria in the fight against corruption, terrorism, and development of agriculture sector. We're back with more. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. Flights to Yemen are being held back by logistic challenges as violence in the country continues. Saudi airstrikes have been targeting Houthi rebels for almost 2 weeks now. The International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC was given permission to land planes carrying staff and medical supplies by a Saudi-led coalition on Saturday. But the flights have been unable to depart, according to ICRC spokeswoman Claire Fagali. The UN says more than 500 people have been killed as the Houthis battle forces lawyer to beleaguered President Abdrabbu'l Mansur Hadi. The Red Cross is also trying to deploy a team of surgeons to the battle-torn city of Aden. That wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stars. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.